Hello, YouTubers, friends, compatriots, bootlickers, shills, debts, serfs, peasants, vassals, minions, meat sacks. I'm Useful Idiot. Welcome. And I've done several videos on this topic already about the idea that Israel is moving closer and closer to annexing the West Bank. And we've had some dramatic elements adding to the fact that seems like it's going to happen sooner or later. Of course, one of the major components of that recently was the Israeli Knesset just approved a plan for the annexation of the West Bank. And in public, we have Netanyahu kind of dancing around the issue and saying that nobody has any right to talk about Israel's sovereignty, and kind of brushed off the question. And then we have Trump as well saying that no, there is not going to be annexation, although Trump has opened the door completely, approving and recognizing that Jerusalem is the capital of Israel, and then approving of the entire genocide in Gaza. And now he's saying that there's not going to be a West Bank annexation, and J.D. Vance has said the same. But in public, they're giving lip service because everything they're doing, as far as Israel's concerned, is giving them a blank check to do whatever they want, and all the machinations that are going on with Israel moving towards the annexation of West Bank are certainly not being addressed by Trump or Vance or Netanyahu. And a good example of that is 356 new houses have been built near Ramallah, and then we have 5,667 houses so far being built in this year in the West Bank, and 25,000 new settlers are moving into the West Bank. And there's also 750,000 settlers in 250 settlements in West Bank. And so there's a massive Israeli presence in the West Bank already, and it continues to grow. And by international standards, it's illegal, but they continue to move ahead as quickly as possible. And then there's talk about the Al-Aqsa Mosque being taken down, and the new temple built, Zionist Israeli Jewish temple being built in the West Bank. And so the more of land that's being taken in the West Bank, the less likely there's going to be any kind of Palestinian state that involves the West Bank, and that's just a fact. And we have the Israeli army and the settlers working together, perpetrating a lot of violence against Palestinians in the West Bank. I think we've had something like 1,000 attacks on, or 1,000 Palestinians killed in the West Bank since more action has been perpetrated by Israel in the West Bank. And so we have a record high amount of new building in the West Bank, a record high of new violence, and it's just a matter of time. And it doesn't seem likely that the U.S. is going to stand in the way. And the Knesset approving of the annexation of the West Bank is a pretty huge step. Right now it's fairly symbolic, but the groundwork for the total annexation of the West Bank into Israel seems to be in the works. And I brought this up in several other videos, and so there's a lot of developments I haven't talked about in this video that are also happening in the West Bank. And one of the worst ones, of course, is the amount of violence by the settlers and the Israeli army against the Palestinians, and destroying their houses and burning their orchards, and making it clear that they're not going to be welcome there anymore. So in the end, the question is, there's 2 million Palestinians living in West Bank, and they provide cheap labor for Israel, but at some point Israel is going to have to address the problem of what they're going to do with the 2 million people living in Palestinians living in the West Bank. So that is a big question, and it's going to be pretty dramatic when it happens, seeing the entire West Bank absorbed into Israel. And then of course we have all the walls that Israel's built, separating different sectors of the West Bank. So at some point they're going to probably serve as an internal segregation system, so Israel will remain an apartheid state. So anyway, since Israel's gotten a blank check from on everything they wanted to do from the Trump administration and the Biden administration and the Obama administration, and the fact that Israel doesn't concern themselves at all with international public opinion or legal decisions by the UN and The Hague. So I see no reason why they're not going to move forward. So it's only a matter of time before the West Bank is annexed by Israel. I'm a useful idiot, don't you be one too?